all back here with us in Orlando, Florida, where it's always this cold, just like it is in this room. Yeah, it's great to have you guys here in the Sunshine State. I know Justin came all the way from Oklahoma and he thought it was going to be warmer in here, but it's not. So we're just going to huddle together and have a good time, you guys. My name is Steve, and I am honored to be with you for one of the coolest panels I can imagine. Who here loves Power Rangers in space? And how about Power Rangers Lost Galaxy? Two of the coolest seasons that combine sci-fi and Power Rangers into one of the coolest things that we've got. And we've got some good versus evil right here. We've got, let's start down here, with the Psycho Rangers. Very cool. Give these guys some love, everybody. Give it up for Michael Maize. Wally Wingert. And representing Power Rangers in space, the Silver Ranger, Justin Nimmo. Nimmo. I had a 50% shot at that one, and I had to take that one. And of course, the Red Ranger, Christopher Khayman, everybody. Yeah. That's it. More applause for the guy who killed Zordon. And let's not forget the wonderfully evil astronomer and Ranger, Perkins. And the awesome Green Ranger, Reggie Rolle, everybody. All right, guys, it's an honor to have you all with us. I'm glad you guys are here. Power Rangers in Space and Power Rangers Lost Galaxy came to us at a time where Power Rangers was breaking new ground, and it was super cool, super high budget, and super different than anything that had come before. So I'm glad that you guys could all join us on this little adventure. And it's very cool. I'm going to start down here, though, with Reggie. Oh, boy. Give it up for Reggie. Now, Reggie, it is good to have you with us here on the East Coast at this convention. It's good to have you back at a RangerStop event. It's really a lot of fun. What have you been up to lately? And, yeah, just anything.
First time at RangerStop.
Yeah.
Yay! We love you, Reggie.
Hey! Yeah, you know what? I've just been really busy, family things, a lot of traveling, and you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. I do want to say this though. I met people tonight from different countries and from all over the place, and I just want to say thank you all for coming out here. I think that's really cool to have that way that Power Rangers has a following like that worldwide. Just give yourselves a hand. Get your hand.
This is a great fan base to be a part of. There you go. Where's your spandex? You didn't wear your spandex.
You know what? I didn't bring them this time.
That's all right.
Next time. Next time.
It's always next time.
Really?
Oh,
don't do that. You're at the wrong pill for that. No.
That's so good. Oh my gosh. And Melody, it's an absolute pleasure to have you back with us at RangerStop.
You're such a good moderator.
Thank you. I just try to pander to the people. You know. No, you guys are fantastic. I'm super bad. This mic is a little low, but that's
low.
All right.
Oh, no.
That's all right. I'll just talk really loud. You can still hear me, right, guys?
Yeah.
Wow.
You're the home.
Perfect. This is really cool. I like this. This is the live element of it. There's still people coming in anyway. It's fine.
Yeah.
Now, guys, I just want you all to know, don't be alarmed. She's going to have to run and take photos at one point, but she's going to come back if she can. So I just want to make sure that throw you under the gun.
I'm sure you are all very
Are you going to run in heels?
She'll walk comfortably and casually to the photo opportunity and then return to
Yes.
this. But yeah.
Yes.
So welcome back to RangerStop.
Thank you.
Glad you're here.
I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so glad. I'm glad that you're happy. I'm happy you're happy. This is great.
We're awesome.
This is why I like to come to the table before and talk to the people. But it's really good to see you.
Thank you.
You're awesome. Astronomer's my favorite. Probably is too. I don't know. You guys like Astronomer? That was another first thing for Power Rangers, though. The villains were always kind of, I mean, they're all wonderful people, but they didn't have the backstory and the depth that started with you, and so you kind of brought that human element to the bad guys and made us want to enjoy that as well. And so thank you for doing that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was an honor.
Oh, well, the honor is ours as the fans, too. Chris.
Yep.
What's up? You having a good time so far at RangerStop this year?
Yeah,
I'm
having a
glad
great
to-
time.
You guys, Christopher Khayman is no stranger to us here with RangerStop, and we're lucky to have him back here.
Out of 7 Ranger stops, he's been here 8 times.
By the way, give her up for Melody, guys. She'll be right back as soon as she can.
Come on, Reggie.
She won't be back. Her line's going to be too long.
I wanted to go myself. But
We were taking pictures in here before she got here.
yeah, she missed out on that too. But yeah, Justin, welcome back to.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's another time. I'm glad
It's
you're
good
here.
to be here.
Yeah, it's great.
I come to Florida for the warmth.
Yeah, you're doing great. Yeah. Welcome everybody. Kick back and relax. Very, very cool. And then we got these guys. Patrick,
Yes.
David, what is up, my friend?
Oh, not much. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. You having a good time in Orlando?
Yeah, I am. I went to Disney World.
Oh, perfect. There you go. Season passes.
Oh, there you go.
That's it. If you're Floridian, you've probably been around.
We have Disneyland where I'm from, but this is.
I don't know. I like both. I like both. It's tough to choose a favorite. Wally right here, an accomplished voice actor. Give it up for Wally. Pick it everybody.
How's everybody? That's all I got. I got nothing else. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Very good. And then Michael. Is it Maize? Is it like the corn? Is that what it is? Michael Maize.
Hello, hello, hello.
Awesome. We got some cool Psycho Rangers in the house. We got some good, a whole good team up of Rangers and people here, but we might have questions from the audience, right, guys? So if you have a question for these guys, I would like you to raise your hand right now if you have a question. Is it a lot of people? Is it some people? Oh, look, you know what? I think number 1 right here. Sir, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say that I'm a big fan of all of you guys. You're really tall and you have lots of voices. You're good looking. I like your saber thing, and green's a great color. Your helmet kind of looks like that one guy, JFDF. And there was a pretty girl here earlier, and thank all of the fans for coming out and the cosplayers and stuff. And I had a question, but I forgot what it was. I got nervous.
He gets nervous. He gets
That's all
nervous.
right, guys. It's, you know, very cool. Does anybody have a question for any of these guys so far to start things up? Well, this young one does. How you doing?
What is your favorite Megazord in Power Rangers besides your own?
Oh, besides our own?
Besides your own.
The one that dug the hole in the ground was cool.
The one that dug the hole in the ground? I like the one that shot lasers and stuff.
I like whichever one that was.
The one that was like a robot. That was good.
Had people inside of its head.
I get it. That's a good question. That is a good question.
I like the one that transforms into a fire truck. That's my favorite.
That's a cool one. Yeah.
Oh, did I get the wrong show? I'm sorry.
It's all right. It all works. What's your favorite?
Yeah, exactly. What is your favorite there, guy?
I like the Beast Morpher Megazords.
I think he said Power Rangers in Space.
I'm pretty sure you said
Was that Galaxy Megazord? You're right. No, yeah, Beast Morphers. It's cool, man. We got so many generations of cool stuff and cool tech. And aren't you happy that, Justin, like when you retire, you can watch all these episodes back? It'll be great. You'll just
I haven't stopped.
Yeah.
I haven't started either, but I haven't stopped.
But you haven't stopped. That's really, really cool. And it's neat. Now, Reg, you guys got to do the team up
Right.
with them coming back. And that was kind of the first time that it happened in that respect, with having the full 2 sets of teams. And Reggie, from your perspective as a current, at the time, Ranger, what was it like to have the other team back? And then maybe, Chris, I know you weren't there, Justin, I'm sorry, but, and then Chris, how was it from your perspective, going back?
You want to start?
Sure.
You go ahead, Reggie.
I thought, honestly, it was one of my favorite episodes because when there's a time when all of I'd say the majority of the Space Rangers appear up really high on a building or something like that. And we're like, look! And then we all come together to bring the heat. It was
You gotta
like,
say your line. I remember your line.
it was pretty epic, I have to
You
say.
said, about 6 of us. So you said?
Oh, yeah,
About
that's
6 of us. And they go,
right.
how about 10 of us?
Yeah, that was like really cool, and I think we set a tone because then they started doing these sort of combined casts going forward. Like because we ended up doing one with the cast after us too. So
Yeah.
we kind of set a new, like a little trend.
Yeah, that was like, that was precedent that was set. So it was one season ends, the next one starts, but then at some point they meet up and do something together.
Yeah.
The next one, and so on and so forth.
And
Yes.
the audience likes it, you know, it
Yeah.
proved that they liked it, and so
So
we,
glad they brought me back for some stuff.
yeah.
Still waiting on that.
Now too, though.
One of these days, I know, yeah. Can we turn the blue one down just a hair?
Are you wearing green lipstick over there?
Thank you.
I love it. I love it, and I love it. Yes!
That's it right there.
Okay, sorry. I just had-
Oh, okay. Oh, hey!
Hit the mute button. Hit the mute button right there. This is fun, you guys. It's not even his fault anymore. Joe's coming in from the other side. It's great. It's all right, guys. Joe's here. Someone said that.
I got my own line after that.
All right, guys. Well, as we come down here, Joe's got.
There you go.
Hey,
Are we Joe, I didn't even want to go think about touching it. I figured you knew what to do better than me. One job. Actually, to be fair, Joe has about 47 jobs, and they're all taking place at the exact same time. Let me talk to these psycho guys down here for a minute, though. A couple of you had the distinct pleasure, let's say, of unmorphing on the show. Like
Morphing, yeah.
Morphing, or yeah, you got to be in human form and then regular form, which is kind of neat. So, what was that like? Did you wish that there was more to your characters? Did you wish you had more opportunity? I say we could have done a whole series for you guys.
I think we were, well, I just remember we were cast for, I was cast for one episode.
Yeah.
I was cast for one episode that we actually morphed. And then after that, I found out that, oh yeah, you're going to be doing voices for 6 other episodes. Which was really exciting, and I had never done voiceovers before, so I all of a sudden was in a strange room with lots of pads and being told to make voices while we watched this thing on the screen. I remember when we turned into like the mega monster forms, I just had like no idea, and they were like, just think back to when you were little playing like monsters in the backyard and make some crazy voice. And I was like, okay. And we're like,
It worked. It worked perfectly. That's exactly what
it was so much fun. Yeah.
Now, Wally, you came at it as a voice actor. That was pretty much your profession, your trade, right?
That's all I've been doing pretty much for 22 years. I've done some on-camera stuff, but under protest. I don't really, because I don't look like these guys. I have a face made for voiceover, so that's kind of my field of expertise. But I realized after watching these things, my friend Brandon gave me the episodes. And I also, as soon as that big owl creature that they're fighting at the beginning of one of the episodes, I was like, oh yeah, I'm that guy too. Woo! Woo! Ah! And I was like, oh yeah. See, I used to do all that stuff when I was a kid, and my folks used to say, shut up, keep it down in there. And now they're, no, keep going, keep making the money. So yeah, keep yelling and screaming, making funny noises. So I was cast only as like a voiceover guy by Scott Page Pagter at the time, and I said, oh, Power Rangers, yeah, that should be kind of cool. And then I also did Wild Force Red in one of the video games, so that was my 2
nice.
Power Ranger things that I did. So, yeah.
Double the Ranger power.
Yeah, I got to play good in. Is Wild Force Red good? I think he was a good guy, right? Yeah. Okay, good. So I got to be good and bad, so that's pretty awesome. So I got to, it's kind of like I got to be Ant-Man in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and I get to be the Riddler in the Arkham universe, so I get to be...
That is so neat. Yeah, I wanted to mention that. Yeah, the Riddler in the Arkham universe.
Yes, the Riddler. Riddle me this, you cowled clod. It is I, the Riddler. Anybody play that game? Nobody? Did you get all the trophies? No. Suck it. You did? You got all the trophies? All right, stand up, take a bow, Trophy Man. All right, Riddler Trophy Man, he got them all. Not easy to do, not easy to do. And I got to actually be Batman for a toy.
There you go.
Which was funny. Yeah,
What's that story like?
Well, the Batman toy that you buy, used to be Toys R Us, where you squeeze the legs and the little thing comes up and fires on. It goes, I am the knight. So I got to be that. So, well, just sound like Kevin Conroy. I'm like, okay.
It's channeling your Kevin Conroy.
I initially wanted to do Adam West, and they said, no, I am the knight. Catwoman, where is the Joker? I wouldn't go for that.
See, they can do more of those animated movies.
You guys have probably got, I did a comedy thing for the first time ever the other night. There's a voiceover thing in Burbank there where it's, We Talk Funny. It's all voiceover people doing comedy for the first Monday night. And you guys are probably, you know who William Shatner is. And you know who Adam West is? I thought it'd be really funny in 1968, after both their shows have been canceled, if they were at an audition together, auditioning for a new show. Why, hello, Bill, my old friend. How are you? I'm fine. Adam, you look fantastic. You look good too, Bill. Your toupee looks real. Almost. What have you been doing, my friend Bill? I've been gallivanting around the galaxy, saving the universe from Klingons. And you, Adam, what have you been doing? I've been gallivanting around Gotham City, saving the citizens from the likes of the Joker, the Riddler, and Catwoman. I'd love to be a fly on the wall. You know they had a love child, Adam West and William Shatner. They dated. Their love child? Did they? Patrick Warburton. Go National. Go like a pro.
It works. It's all there. It's all there.
The Orlando Comic Club next weekend.
Moonlighting.
Kevin,
There you go. That autograph price just tripled right there for that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Let me throw it to Justin really quickly here. You want to answer Justin's questions?
I'll try.
You might know it better than me.
I was going to say that Justin, as a sixth ranger, you spent, as far as sixth rangers go, not too much time on the show because you would be gone. How many episodes, if you remember, were you actually a part of? And if you don't remember, that's okay.
Well, I want to say 16. 18. Downset Hut. 12. 11 and a half. I was
10 episodes, that's all.
He just thinks it was 10.
Well, even if it was 10 episodes, let's think about how memorable he made those 10 episodes, right, guys? It's one of the coolest Power Rangers in history.
In 10 episodes, had their own sword, own Zord, a good guy, a bad guy, dated a good girl.
And or a pretty good
friend's
concert.
girl. His friend jealous because he thought he was dating his girl. Oh, that. Or how many suits?
Yeah.
You wore my suit.
You had the same. Oh, I was silver. Yeah. There you go. You still have the spandex?
He was jealous because I thought I had Ashley when I was doing the telekinesis.
You remember?
Oh yeah, you remember. Never forget.
Does anybody out here have any questions for our panel, our friends here? Anything you wanted to ask? Oh, I see a hand up in the front row.
Yes. We have one hand up.
I have a question. Okay. So, did any of you get to do any actual stunts during the filming process?
I did too. When Melody blew me up.
Careful.
Oh, I know.
Audience, children.
They wanted me to be like smoking or whatever, so I literally had to like smoke a cigarette and blow it out, and they're like, we're going to have to pay you extra for that. And then the time when we thought the psychos were dead, and I get back on the ship, and I'm trying to scare Chris, and I wear the red suit and freak him out, and I got to do the flip. I had to beg to do the flip. So they didn't let me do much, but I mean there was some of the other people that got hurt. Like Tracy break a leg or an arm.
Tracy got hurt, but she didn't break it. I think she just sprained something.
Yeah,
pretty sure.
Did you do stunts?
Yeah, I did
You were a
everything.
stunt.
I did all that stuff except for whatever was gymnastics, like
So pretty much
backhand
anything when the helmet was on.
Pretty much.
Yeah, every time the helmet was on, it wasn't Chris.
Yeah.
Which was most of the time. Chris didn't jack.
You
still can't do it,
I wasn't
Chris.
even
You want to
on the
argue?
show,
We're going to fight about it right now. We're going to fight. Don't fight. He wins.
I tripped over the welcome mat on the way into the voiceover studio.
That's how you got the high-pitched voice.
Yeah, we did some stunts. I would say the majority of the stunts with the helmet on we did not do, but we had a pretty athletic cast. We did a lot of our stunts. I did get burned once in an episode, which was fun. The pyro was supposed to go that direction, and then when I get destroyed with this monster comes and hits me something went wrong with that pyro because
Show them the scar, right?
when I was like, that was real. That was like, so it was.
You really sold that.
I didn't have to back for that. That was real. But it was fun. The stunt part of it was really cool for me.
I wish that we would have been able to do all the cables and stuff when they're flying around. Man, that looks so fun. You got to do that? Yeah. I'm jealous. Next time be a red guy. I'm going back. I'm going to have a talk with somebody. He was at Hasbro. I'm talking with him tomorrow.
Awesome. Anyone else have a question on here? Got some hands up? Who? Well, that's all right. Oh, fantastic. There we go. No reason to be shy. We got a good group of people up here.
So when the Psycho Rangers did the voiceovers, were they in the room with other people interacting with them, or were they kind of on their own and you had to interact with whatever was going on?
When I did it, it was just me and the voice director, and that's pretty much it. I worked with Michael 2 days. Never saw him again until a few hours ago. Seriously, a few hours ago. Very strange. And a pleasure first time meeting him. But no, I had that. I don't know. Yeah, who's in your room? Just you, right?
Yeah, it's all the same.
Well, there's a difference between, like, for example, Family Guy or the Garfield Show or whatever. That's done ensemble style with the full cast in a semicircle. Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, all that stuff. But if you're doing a video game or you're doing ADR or looping or dubbing, like what this show was, it's just you. Where it's us for one guy or one girl for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. We do our stuff, they get all of our loops, as they call them, and then somebody else comes in and they get all of their loops and they get all their, but they put it all together. It makes it sound like we're all in the same room together, which is the genius of the voice director, because they all have the idea of how the puzzle is eventually going to fit together, and they know how to direct you because they know what the next line is after you and how that's going to sound. So in order to make it sound all cohesive, relies on a really good voice director, and Scott Page-Baxter was the voice director at the time, and he was really good at figuring that out. You did all that stuff alone too, right?
Yeah. And so they filmed it ahead of time, and so we were watching the guys in the suits, do that and that and that, and so you're just matching your lines to how they're moving their bodies.
Thank you.
Yes.
We would see each other, like, as I'd be leaving, Danny would be coming in, or Serena would be coming in as I would be leaving. ADR was fun though, because you get to do all the
Yeah, no one watching you. You get to be all crazy.
It's fun. I have a question for these two guys. So, okay, because I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about how it was for us too when we passed on the torch. So, when the Galaxy Rangers were coming in, what was your opinion of, like, because I would see you sometimes in the office.
I saw him in the office too.
You know, like upstairs, like like the building where Scott's stuff was, and I'd see you upstairs, and like Susie would be in that one room, and I've always wondered, what was your opinion of us, like when you just see us walking around?
I hate it all.
With the train.
Get run over by a train.
Because you were kind of quiet. You were nice but quiet.
That was plotted. There was no need for you guys to be there. No, we already had it under control. We took care of everything once. So we're like, we could do it again. We already brought the ratings back. Why did you need to show up?
I just always wondered because,
I mean, you look good.
When we were in that same position, like sometimes I would sit in on the castings. Just others would let me sit in on them.
Really?
And so it was interesting to watch,
See who's going to come in and
So you didn't like us?
Who's going to take your spot?
Yeah, it was interesting.
No, we were getting a paycheck.
Yeah, we had a
You come in and we don't get a paycheck. That's like, how would you feel if somebody was to come in and take your, well, now you're married, but if it was your girlfriend?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you guys were like, I didn't go through the same thing.
No, we went through it before you did.
Okay.
Typical, right?
Yeah.
You too.
We went through it before you did.
Yeah. So anyways, okay.
That is a great topic.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Oh, here we go. Talk loud.
You ever have the episodes on around you and you hear the morpher go off and you just look down real quick and you're like,
Chris, you sleep in one of those morphers, don't you?
Of course, yes.
It's kind of like a life alert bracelet.
Yeah. Didn't you know?
I I mean, yeah, Chris. Oh, yeah. But I believe the answer was probably no. Is that right?
The answer, well, for me, it's not.
It would be nice to have your own personal alpha, though.
It would, right?
Yeah, it is. I guess Siri.
I mean, I guess you have Siri. You have Alexa.
Actually, my Siri is an Australian guy. I get
An
tired of
Australian
having the
guy?
girl yell at me all the time. Turn left, stupid, turn left. And he's like, I'm going to a different voice.
So we were ahead of the time because really alpha is Alexa now.
Yes.
I mean, he kind of walked around and stuff.
Just like Back to the Future, you know, it comes out on Back to the Future, finally shows up and
True.
flip phones and stuff like that.
It's all there. Thanks to William Shatner. Pretty cool guy. Anybody else have any questions, though, guys? Oh, I see one in the back right here. We're going to start back this way. There we go. Talk loud into my ear.
Was there a storyline or a scene that you guys wanted in that never got in?
Tell them about the clothing optional scene.
I always thought that since I started dating or seeing whatever you want to call that, Astronema, who turned into be a crone, that when she went to the next season to become a Power Ranger, it only made sense that I go there with her and make babies. It didn't happen though. Well, I just thought that'd be a good reason to have the new season of Power Rangers, because we make new Power Rangers.
Coming soon to Fox, Ranger Babies.
It's kind of the next generation. I think I see where you're going with it. Yeah. Completely, at a completely wholesome level. I think you're there, right? Upstanding.
In a wholesome way. In a wholesome way. Like,
It's like every 3-year-old I know is automatically a Psycho Ranger because the terrible threes are they're all psycho.
Just the nature of it, right? Crazy. Anyone else out there? Oh, right here up front. Great costume, by the way.
Thank you very much. From one shiny head person to another.
Well, that leaves me out.
I'd like to know, were you and Amy together during the scene where you and Danny were, I guess, like in prison, I guess, or whatever? And y'all talking about,
we were like hanging up by the...
Yeah, and y'all was talking about how hot she was, Trakina, and everything. So were you and Amy actually together then, or did y'all get together afterwards?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I would say, if my memory serves me right, I would say that we were together at that point. I think.
Just started dating.
Yeah.
Lucky couple.
Thing.
Good question. Here's something I want to ask. Good question, thank you. I think there needs to be a forever green.
Yeah.
No offense. No offense.
I think that's actually covered under the Green New Deal. I think that's part of it, actually.
There should be a forever green situation. Just a thought. What do I mean?
Works for me, though. To piggyback on that, though, Reg, you, as far as the people up here, you did come back the most recent in Power Rangers Super Mega Force. Yeah. So that was neat. What was that like when they selected a handful of you to come out there?
Yep.
And you were one of the 5 or 6 that said yes to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
It was fun. It was kind of an emotional situation because I hadn't seen Danny, my Red Ranger Leo. I hadn't seen him, I mean, since the days of the show. Some of the directors and producer people that were there, I hadn't seen them. So it was almost like a mini family reunion, and it was, at times it was emotional for us, like, you know, but it was amazing. Going to New Zealand was really fun, and they didn't want us to talk about it, but the group of us would be out like having coffee or going to dinner, and why is Reggie and Jason Font and Jason Frank and like, why are all these people together at the same time? Like, so it was fun. It was a special time. I think it would have been better if it were like a 2-hour situation, like 2 hour-long episodes, because it could have been so cool.
There was just a lot more to do. Not anybody really got a chance to shine.
Yeah, there were so many things that they could have did with that one, but it was an honor to be selected again. It was fun.
It was good to have you back.
That was the one where they asked several people, like you said, only 5 people went, and they asked me, and now I know why you got it and I didn't. I asked for like $300 to have my hair done, but you didn't have to ask for it. Now I do.
It's all coming together. It's all making sense. I think I saw a hand up over in this neck of the woods. Yeah, right over here.
This is for Chris. If Corone and Andrus were in a Power Rangers fight with each other, who would win and why?
Really? Who would win? All right, how about this? Andros would win because I said so. And because I want him to win. So how's that? I gotta defend yourself.
Good enough.
It's a very evenly matched fight, so I mean I can't sit there and say, oh, well, clearly this one or the other.
She might scratch your eyes out.
She's tougher than she looks, probably. Tougher than she acts.
Yeah, speaking of, where is she? Somebody go get her.
Good question, I know. We'll go here, here, here.
Hi guys, it's wonderful to meet you all. Big fan of Tears as much as all of us are. Has a huge impact on my childhood as much as a lot of us. So I want to thank all of you, including the Second Rangers, of course. Can't forget some of the coolest villains in the entire series.
Yeah.
So my question to all of you guys is, did you guys have any like real-time favorite moments on set from your individual seasons, whether it was physically on set, even in the voice acting studio, where you really just sat there and said, wow, this is the realest moment that I am a Power Ranger, that I'm going to have that may have an impact on a lot of people's lives?
You gonna look at me?
I'm gonna look at you. I gotta start. You guys are the pros here.
You gonna start it?
I'll start it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are we talking about situations that have impacts on people's lives? We met a lot of Make-A-Wish kids, and there was one in particular, this little guy was from Australia, and he flew all the way over there to meet the Green Ranger, and it was pretty cool. I mean, we were in the middle of shooting, and then to stop and meet his family, those type of moments were cool. I would say one of the special moments for me on the show was the night before our first episode aired. We all had a slumber party at Danny's house because we wanted to wake up together and see our show together for the first time. I will never forget that because we were like siblings, literally. We were like brother and sister, and so to wake up and see yourself for the first time on the show after shooting it for months, that was special. And I'm sorry I'm going on and on, but also I know a lot of you guys know that Valerie she got ill during the show, and so there were some serious moments personally with her, like going to the hospital and going through all of that with her. So I think our season was really special, and I know that In Space started something that sort of changed the way Power Rangers was on TV, and to be able to continue that sort of with special effects and the way our storyline and everything. So I feel like, the Space Lost Galaxy time period was special just within the Power Rangers overall franchise. I know like the originals with Jason David Frank and Amy Georgette, I know those guys like are the godfathers and paved the way, but I think that In Space and Lost Galaxy are, if this were like about music or the Grammy Awards or something, like you gotta put us with like Prince, Michael, like we're with those people too. That's just my opinion. Like if there was a Hall of Fame for Power Rangers, you gotta put In Space and Lost Galaxy. Yes. You have to. Just saying.
So I remember one time when I was, it was shortly after the show started airing, I don't know, maybe like a month after it started airing. I lived right near where the show was shot. It was called Santa Clarita. I lived up there. And, just something that really kind of clued me in on like how big or important or whatever it was, the show. I went out one night just to grab something to eat, and I was just like standing there waiting for it, and like 2 or 3 kids that were like roughly my age. Like I think I was like 20, and they were like they looked like they would be like 18 or something like that. They walked in and they're like, "Oh my God, you're that guy from Power Rangers!" And I was just like, "Wow, how the hell do you know who I am?" So I don't know, it was really trippy for me. I never had that Now that doesn't happen as much because my hair's
What about you?
Can you repeat the question?
He's your Instagram.
Pay attention. I'm trying to show you something. So yes, run down the question again, just so I know I answer it completely.
Throughout your time in the show, was there just a big moment where it really became surreal that, oh my God, Power Rangers has such an impact on the fans and on what would later be in your life?
It most likely would be, I'll tell you exactly how long ago this was. Hold on. No, I have something. Chris, it's actually your picture on it, so shut up. 3 years, 7 months, and 5 days ago.
That's a good picture.
So, after the show was over, I didn't know there was Comic-Cons. I had no idea Power Rangers was still on television. So Chris had called me up and he's like, hey, I'm coming to town. Why don't we hook up? And I was like, wow, yeah, it's been forever. Cool, let's hook up. And we started talking a little bit more, and then he was like, so I'm going to meet at this comic book store. And I was like, okay, that's cool, I guess, if you want me to meet there. I'm not really into comic books. And then he goes, hey, any chance you can maybe print off a couple of pictures? For what? He was slowly getting me into, like, coming to this comic book store and doing a Comic-Con with him. So that's when it, like, started, and then I realized there was a ton of Power Ranger fans, and it was a huge thing, and it was worldwide, and it was awesome. That's exactly when, right there.
A little bit more quick, but yeah, it's kind of similar to him. I just started doing Comic-Cons last year, and I honestly I mean, I knew I did the Power Rangers show, but I really didn't think much about it afterwards. And I got invited to do the con, and I'm like, why? I was just like a guest star, literally. But after showing up and doing a few of these and hearing the stories from the fans about how they loved our Psycho Rangers and what it meant to them, and then the toys came out and the comics and stuff, and I'm just hearing up the stories about how they thought that we kind of had a positive impact. I'm like, really? We're the villains, but I thought you'd hate us. They didn't hate us, they loved us, and I don't know, I'm just surprised. I'm just, yeah, that's the moment that started last year.
There we go. I got nothing.
Go back to astronomer.
Yeah. Astronomers are fine. Repeat the question for Melody.
Oh, hi.
Awesome. The question was, in this case, what was the one moment in, like, your time since Power Rangers that you discovered this was something huge, this was something that might have an effect on your life for the rest of your life? It's basically that.
Since doing the show, I would say it was my first con. It was Power Morphicon in Pasadena. It was amazing. I had no idea. I had no idea when I was doing the show that it was what it was. And when I got to, and people kept kind of emailing about these conventions, and I was like, and then finally showed up, and it was incredible. It is. It's the stories that you guys tell us, and it's coming from, you know, South Africa and the UK and Brazil to say hi, and that is what keeps me so happy, and it reminds me how important this was. I had no idea.
That answer was worth waiting for, I think. That's great.
That was trailing.
Jimmy's going right here.
Alright, so since Melody's back, now we can ask this question. For you, Chris, and Justin, if in space, if they let the story continue, would you have let Zane be in a relationship with Corona?
What's up with the glasses? Wait. Oh, okay.
I guarantee you, it is not up to me either way. So when it came down to the show, we leave that up to Chip, and whatever he writes down, that's what we do. So there it is.
But hypothetically.
No! Never! He's a dog.
Tell us how you really feel.
Nice.
He's my dog. But he's terrible. He's just totally terrible. I think we make a great couple. What do you guys think?
I feel like our schedules would have conflicted.
Nope. Fair enough. Not too shabby. Melody, how was the photo thing? Was it good?
Oh, it was quick. It was good.
It's
Yeah.
in and out. It was really quick.
Yeah,
I'm glad you made it back
awesome.
to join us for a while here. Question for you that you probably get often. You know, Astronomer versus Corona, or Astronomer versus the Pink Ranger. When you were Astronomer, did you think, oh, I would like to be a Power Ranger one day? The circumstances being what they were that brought you into the show as a Power Ranger was kind of unique. And I just wondered if you had any insight on any of that time period that you would mind sharing with the audience.
I loved being Astronomer. It was really challenging for me. I was definitely cast against type. I don't even know why they cast me. It was really enjoyable and challenging, and I loved that I got to have glimpses of me in normal form in space. I had no idea that I would be brought back, of course. The circumstances were very difficult, but Lost Galaxy, the cast was so supportive and welcoming, and it was really exciting to bring that story around full circle. I was very honored to join them, and they're amazing. So, and what's even better is that Valerie is doing so well and she's thriving, so it's a great story.
That's it. It had a happier ending, so it was great.
I have a question for Astronomer. What do you think about you coming back into the Psychopath novel?
Oh my God, I'm obsessed.
I know, right?
Like I keep looking at I haven't read it yet, I just got a copy of it.
I offered you a copy.
I just got it. I didn't even have it. The first time I saw a picture of you with it and I was like, oh.
You're on the cover! You and this guy on the cover!
Yeah, so I just kind of keep looking at it. Like I have it in my house and I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
That's strange.
I just amazing.
I love it.
They did a good job of like drawing each of us in there.
Yeah.
You can literally look at her picture and go, oh, that's her. This picture, that's him.
I've never even read a comic book until that comic came out.
Yeah, the
my first time
comics have
reading.
done great things
My first time
with all
reading a
the
comic.
characters. Definitely worth looking at. Anybody out there read the Boom comics? Everybody? Some
Have you guys read this one?
very cool. The Psycho.
And he has his fluffy hair in it too.
Yeah.
It's fluffy. It's called
Is the
fluffy.
story good? Is it surprising?
It is. Yeah, my mouth dropped open.
Wow.
Yeah. Some certain things that you did. And you bit me.
Story of my life.
But that's the. I think it's cool to see that even after a little bit of time has gone by, they can bring your characters back in these other mediums, in these other forms. You're looking, hey, here's Astronomer, here's Corone doing something in a comic book so many years after you would think you might leave it behind. So.
No, I feel like that's the power of on demand, right? It's Netflix, it's streaming,
And that's the way, yeah.
And every time it's so. Gosh, I'm so humbled, honestly. Like it's the fans that keep this thing so amazing.
I think another thing to go along with Power Rangers in Space and Lost Galaxy, Reggie, you hit it on the head earlier. It was something special that whole time period. I think the serialization of the show lends itself better to now. When we would watch it every week and be like, oh, here's the new Power Rangers. But if we could just watch the entire season on Netflix in about 6 hours, you know, and just keep it running, that really gives you that chance to reconnect. And I'm sure you've probably got new fans that probably weren't even born when you were the Green Rangers.
We don't need to talk about all that. About our favorite. Yeah. No, it's cool to be able to see our entire season, or when someone's talking to me, I can say, yeah, it's on Netflix, and they can see the entire season. Yeah.
Just point them to it and go here. Spend a couple hours. Any other questions from the audience? Anybody? Oh, right here, the Ranger shirt.
I got a question for Wally, and it's not Ranger related at all. I'm sorry. Any chance?
Yes.
He piqued his interest.
Would you be able to say if by any chance you'd be depicting 66 Riddler anytime soon?
Again?
Yeah?
Oh, well, no, now that Adam, the question was, would I be doing the Frank Gorshin Riddler? Two Riddlers, the Arkham Riddler and also the Frank Gorshin Riddler in the last two animated feature films that Adam West did before he passed away. The producer, James Tucker, has indicated that since Adam has passed, it probably would not be appropriate. to have someone else slip into that. Patrick Warburton, his illegitimate son notwithstanding. Yeah, now that Adam's gone, it's probably not going to happen. But boy, it sure was. Well, I knew Adam. I knew Adam for 37 years. I met him in 1980. I was a DJ in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And he said, Wally, move to Los Angeles. And I did, and he helped me, and we were good friends for 37 years. And we both were on Family Guy together, which was amazing. If somebody would have told me in 1980, you know, you're going to be in Adam West's 2 final films, I would have said you're crazy. But to get to be not 1 but 2 villains in those films, as the Frank Gorshin Riddler, and also King Tut, and also have a scene with William Shatner. Of course, we recorded separately, so they weren't actually physically in the room. But just to see the scene with Adam, you know, Batman talking to the Riddler, and you know, Shatner talking to King Tut, was a dream come true for a young kid who used to watch all those shows. To now actually be, in voice anyway, sharing the screen with those 2 guys. But I love doing the Frank Gorshin Riddler! Gorshin had been to my house before, and he knew he was dying of emphysema. And he had 1/2 a cigarette left, which ended up, you know, killing him. Kids, don't smoke, whatever you do. And he said, anybody got a cigarette? I was like, sorry, Frank, we're all allergic. Oh, okay. So he threw the box away, but I kept the empty cigarette box, and I still have it in my collection. But I was missing Frank and looking at this thing for the audition, and I'm like, I gotta try and lock into him. And he was an impersonator, the master impersonator. And I'm trying to figure out who is he impersonating as the Riddler. There's a cadence in there that's like, he's locking it. Now, he admitted that the Riddler laugh, which goes, was taken from Richard Widmark in some movie where he was pushing some lady in a wheelchair down the stairs and maniacally laughing. But I can't lock into who he's doing as the actual Riddler voice with the strange cadence Batman. I never could lock into that, but it's a little Kirk Douglas, but it's a little Burt Lancaster. There's a lot of different, we call it in voiceover, hybridization, where you take a little Groucho Marx, but you put a little Peter Fonda in it. It's weird. But the King Tut, which was in the second movie, was a lot of fun, because
everybody loves Victor Buono as King Tut. Yes, my Tutlings. Speed it up!
I don't know if you remember Victor Buono, but he was enormous.
And you have to sound very fat when you do a voice like that, yes. Oh dear, oh.
Because Victor Buono as the character King Tut would also get conked on the head and turn into the professor. Yeah. So it was 2 very different characters.
Oh dear boys, please, do not protest. No, that's not the way to do things.
Then he'd get conked on the head.
I'm King Tut, bow before me, Tutlings!
So it was really a lot of fun to do that. But yeah, I'm sorry, that was a long answer. The short answer is probably not going to be any more 66 Batman animated films now that Adam has passed. Sadly. So thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
That was great, though.
If you want us to go back to our tables later, don't ask him any more questions.
That's it. So Wally's going to have a show for the rest of the night here. Speaking of that, though, guys, Justin mentioned the tables, and all of these guys are going to be around for the weekend, and you're going to be able to see some of them. Unfortunately, it's my job to let us know that we are running out of time at this point.
My fault. Sorry.
Always one of those things. But if any of you on the panel have any final thoughts or things you'd like to say to the audience, please feel free.
Yeah, I want to put you guys on camera. Can we do that?
Very good. Excellent. That was a good way to go with it. Anyone else? Melody, put you on the spot.
I just want to say thank you guys for coming. It's such an honor to have you guys here and tell us your stories and how this franchise has impacted you. Not to be all woo-woo and sentimental, but thank you.
Keep that applause going for the Psycho Rangers. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. These guys will be around at their tables, and you are welcome to go say hi.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I know. I wish I was all not everyone's good.
Precisely the reason I don't